afternoon. It's 3 o'clock on Saturday the 15th of May 2021, and here I am on a campsite just outside of Southerness, which is where I finished my walk yesterday. I did actually see a poster at the when I stopped at there was like a viewing point which is about, say, 3 or 4 miles back on the walk up from New Abbey to Southerness yesterday, and so I gave them a ring to see if they had any vacancies. It's only a small campsite, there's only 5 plots. Absolutely wonderful place with exactly the same view as I had walking along that road, and I'll show you that in a second. And I'll be honest with you, I looked at the weather forecast, and that kind of confirmed to me that I would have a day off, because it was going to be rain and showers and all the usual stuff that we get from time to time. But it's turned out to be quite a nice day. There's been absolutely no rain or showers at all. So I could have walked after all, which is a bit irritating. But if I'm to be honest, you know, my legs have done well for the last week. I'm very happy with the progress I've made with that. But it's a different ball game as from tomorrow, because I'm walking on, not on a road, I'm walking on rough ground on a sort of a rocky beach that does turn into a sandy beach, but that walk is only for about 4 miles to a place called Sandy Hill, and then I'll be able to get a bus back from Sandy Hill back again to Southerness. It's been quite a morning actually this morning. I stayed on a pub car park last night opposite a car park where it said no overnight parking, so I went to have a word with the landlady, who was a very nice lady, who said, yeah, you sleep on our car park, not a problem at all. And so, because I need to let my engine tick over to generate sufficient power to work on my computer, because my leisure batteries, as they're called, I've got 2 of them, 12-volt batteries, are not holding the charge like they should be, and I'm quite sure that was mainly because they were not used during lockdown, but they are coming back to life in much the same way as my legs are coming back to life. You know, I'm managing now to walk 7, 8, 9, 10 miles without any problems, and I'm very pleased about that, which means that I can now use them with good effect when I'm walking on this rougher ground. And I know it's going to be a lovely walk from there onwards, from when I finish at Sandy Hill, but I'll be starting that walk the morning of probably Monday or Tuesday. But what I wanted to show you is this site. It's absolutely amazing, and I don't know whether you people have heard of John Paul Jones. I've got to be honest with you, I have. He was the bass player with Led Zeppelin, one of my favourite bands in like 67, 68, around that period, like just before Jimi Hendrix burst onto the scene. Well, there is a John Paul. He used to be called John Paul, but apparently he was wanted by the police, and so he added Jones on the end, John Paul Jones. And John Paul Jones, I'm not a historian, I'm not going to try and make it up. I'm going to show you some film now of this wonderful campsite where I'm staying. It's only £15 a night, which is excellent, and I've got electric mains hookup, which is even better, which means that I'm saying I'm having a day off, I'm just busy on my computer, and it's all relevant stuff. It's backing stuff off my cards, off the cameras, backing it up so that if I want to use it again in its raw format I can do. And I've got a little heater because it's not warm here today, so it just takes that little bit of a chill off, and it'll be lovely first thing in the morning. There's water and everything, and the camp is, I think there's 4 of the 5 spots taken, and but there's a lovely receptionist here, and I've got to be honest with you, I feel awful about this, but I've forgotten the name, and she wanted to be as friendly as possible and say, come and have a look at this like museum that they've got with regard to John Paul Jones. Now, I'm not going to try and explain it, but I'm going to show you some of this footage, and what a fantastic place. And if you're in this neck of the woods, you can't miss coming here. It is absolutely wonderful. This museum cum campsite, very unusual. It was like very unusual the other day when I was in a place where they had a pub at one end of a building and a post office at the other, and the postmaster was also the landlord. I thought that was quite funny. And that was in Clarencefield, I think it was, and I met some wonderful people there as well. So this is I'm just not playing for time, don't misunderstand me, but I thought this is a good opportunity to tell you these things, and also I might show you around in the caravan, in the camper van, because one or two people have asked what's it like in there. Well, my camper van's always a bit of a mess because I've got so many different things that I'm using all the time. I do put them away on a night and all the rest of it, but if I was to show you now, you'd think you'd know the reason why I don't let women in here. Simple as that. So I'm in good humour. I've had a good sleep last night, but for all you people who think that it's just a case of doing the walk, I'll tell you what happened this morning. I woke up and put the film on, in other words, transferring it from finishing the edit, transferring it then onto my laptop to then send off up to YouTube, but there's no signal. It's a very weak signal. So as a consequence of that, I had to drive all the way back to Dumbfries, which is about 15 miles, go to the railway station where I usually go because they've got a really good signal there. So I did that. Then I went to Tesco to buy some food and some water and some other bits and pieces that I needed, and go to the cash point because I wasn't sure whether these people here actually used card or cash. Then I drove back up here. Oh, sorry, before that I had to go to B&M stores and buy some more gas canisters, which I'll need, and also to get some diesel. And I've been using a lot of diesel because of what I've been telling you. These batteries soon run low, and so I need to leave my engine ticking over to produce 13.5 volts, which goes into my batteries, goes into the inverter, which converts it from 12 volts to 240 volts, so I can use it. So the engine could be ticking over for a couple of hours, and that's costing me money. It's probably the equivalent of a 20-mile drive making a film. So you add that up, I've got to start thinking about being practical and sensible with my money, because I've got a long way to go. I've got 3 months of this and I'm only into the first week. I'm not worried, don't misunderstand me, but it would be stupid to sort of keep on doing this. So every opportunity I get, I'm going to take. Another thing to say to you is that I've had some fantastic messages from all you people, and lovely messages, and I could name a few names of people who have only come on board with me over the last sort of 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, and I've got about 600 new Facebook friends in the last month, which is really good. My figures have gone up quite well. There's more people watching the film than certainly during the lockdown. And so I'm very pleased, and some of the messages are witty and informative and all the rest of it, and so I'm dead happy with that. And so enough of that. So this is just a very quick presentation of the John Paul Jones Museum, which is, as I say, it's just near Southerness in the county of Dumbfries and Galloway. So let's take a look. Good morning. It's 8:45 on Sunday the 16th of May 2021, and I've actually set off on a walk this morning for the first time since I arrived here in Scotland last Friday. The Friday before. And I've calculated I've done about 75 miles up to now, or thereabouts. It's not an accurate figure, but it is something like, I would imagine. And I'm feeling good, and I'm seriously looking forward to actually walking on a beach again. I set off this morning only 20 minutes ago, and I'm down here on the beach, and it looks like a wonderful walk. The weather's still a bit unsettled. You saw what I did earlier when I was at the campsite, and I made a very productive kind of job of that, really, without going into massive details. When you think about I've got to leave my engine ticking over to make films, you think about the cost of the diesel. Well, for ticking over for 2 hours, sometimes even more, well, it saved me an awful lot of money staying on a campsite where it only cost 15 quid, and I got so much work done. I was at it all day. It was a rest day in that it was resting my legs and everything, and I enjoyed having electric fire on to keep warm because it was a little bit nippy. I'm quite sure the BBC seemed to have got mixed up really between the weather yesterday and the weather today, because they forecast rain all day, which prompted me to think, well, I'll have a day off, when in actual fact I could have done this walk quite easily. And now I've arrived here this morning in Southerness, and the first thing that happened was we had a downpour. But I studied the timetable with the tides, and the tide is actually going out at the moment, and it's got about an hour to go till it's at low tide 9:30, by which time I should be a long way on. And then I've got to consider getting a bus back to Southerness. Well, it's a Sunday service. There's only 3 buses. One of them is around about 7:30 in the morning, one of them's at 1:30, and the other one's at 6:30, I think it is, roughly. Not saying that's accurate, but that's how it's spaced out. So I'm keen on getting there for the 1:30. I think I've got lots of time, and I could even probably walk further on and actually meet the number 501 bus as it's coming in this direction. So it's not that much of a risk, and even if I miss the bus, it's only about a 4 or 5 mile walk back, so we'll just see how it goes, so I'm not really worried. But it looks a lovely morning. It's absolutely dead still. There's just a slight breeze which is behind me, and I'm up for a really good day, a really good day's walk today. I cooked myself a really nice breakfast this morning. I made myself a really lovely curry last night as well, and had a few beers and all that kind of stuff. And I will be probably going back again to that wonderful John Paul Jones site again, because they were lovely people. The good thing about it is that they have a good internet signal there. I wish I'd known that instead of going all the way back into Dumbfries the other day, but you learn. You've got no way of knowing until you try. It's very much kind of suck it and see. So, I'm pleased to say, see you, Jimmy! So just a real quickie. Your name is, sorry?
My name's Nick.
Nick.
Christine.
Oh, Christine.
And Angus.
And Angus. And he's beautiful. And I've just had a walk for about a mile with these people, wonderful people. I've told them my life story, as I always do. But it's been a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, and a pleasure meeting you. And good luck.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Bye now. Well, I'm having to double back on myself. I got all the way to the river that people kept telling me about, and different opinions from different people. They were saying, oh, you'll be okay, you'll be able to wade across it, it's only probably knee deep. But they didn't tell me that the sand was more like very soft, dark grey coloured, and I was getting deeper and deeper into it, and I thought, no, I don't like this. I've been in this position before, you just get out as soon as you can. So I walked back to walk up the sort of east side of the river, and it just went on and on and on. And so I go back to the conversation that I had the other day when I was in Southerness, and there was a very nice guy who I was asking him about the walk, and he said, be warned, he said that it's dangerous to try and cross that river, and he said you would be well advised when you get to you'll see a black signpost. He says you want to be turning left, turning right, and walking along that. It's to like a bird sanctuary, and I remember him saying it very distinctly. He said you'd be wasting your time carrying on. So I thought, well, I'll have a look, and he was absolutely right, and so I'm doubling back to there now, to the point where you may remember a few minutes ago on the film where there was a guy pushing a pram with his family, and they were very nice people, and I stopped and talked to them for a while, and they said, oh, you'll be okay. Now I can see that sign from here, and it must be half a mile away, so I've just wasted all that, but it doesn't really matter. I've still got time. It's about 11:30 now. The bus doesn't come until 1:30, and even if I miss that, there is another one at 5:30. So, you know, sometimes you have to take these chances and, you know, risk it a little bit, and sometimes it works and sometimes it fails, and it wouldn't be the first time, but it was a failure. But never mind, these things happen. So I've just been a bit of a wasted journey all the way to nearly to Sandy Hill, but to cross a river. And you was telling me about that. You've had experience of that yourself, Bob, and it's not a wise move, is it?
It's not a wise move. The mud can be very sticky at times.
Yes.
The tide can come in unexpectedly as well. So
yes. Yes.
It's not a good idea.
Yes. So are you like an avid walker?
Yes, I do. Probably 6-8 miles every day.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, the people who manufacture Fitbits, they suggest 10,000 steps, which is around about the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a Fitbit and it keeps track of what I'm doing, more for the benefit of what I'm doing on this walk and recording it. But you were saying you're from Dumbfries and Galloway.
Yeah.
And what a fantastic county you've got here. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful. It's got everything. It's got hills, it's got seaside, it's got shores.
Yes.
Plenty of wildlife. It's
yes.
just a wonderful place to be.
Yes, it is.
And it's quite selfish. I don't really want hundreds of holiday makers coming here.
No, well, yes, that's fair comment. You know, and I agree with you. And I think it's a wonderful place. Everybody's been ever so friendly and giving me advice, and you know, it's been great. I've not seen many walkers yet. I mean, obviously, you know, I think as from tomorrow, the pubs and all that kind of stuff, and the campsite. I stayed at a lovely campsite last night at the where John Paul Jones was born.
Yes.
That birthplace.
Of England.
That's a very nice campsite, and they were very friendly people. And you mean you're a little bit older than me, actually, you were saying, but I always thought that John Paul Jones was the bass player in Led Zeppelin. I didn't realise he was an American pirate.
Of course, he was our famous local man that went to America.
Yes, that's right.
Got involved in the American Navy.
Yes.
And then he almost had the cheek to come back and lay siege to Whitehaven, which is just across the water.
Yes, yes.
So he's a bit of a mixed hero, really.
I know. Well, the lady there was telling me that he was actually called John Paul because there's a pub called John Paul in Southerness,
Yeah.
but he made it John Paul Jones because the police were after him. He was a bit of a villain.
He was, I think, his whole life he was, but he was popular and
Yes.
a wee bit like Robin Hood, I suppose. You know, these
Yeah,
people
that's right.
that,
Yeah. But
become
even when I
legends.
walked to Whitehaven, when that was in 2018, I walked from Carlisle right down the coast, all the way down to Land's End, and I remember staying in Whitehaven, and his name came up quite often there, the John Paul Jones. And I think these people, what do they call them, the pub chain, I always forget the name. They have a pub called the John Paul Jones, and
well, him and his crew of a boat sailed into Whitehaven Harbour
yes,
and laid siege to the town.
yes,
But I think they were rebuffed because the Whitehaven people are a hardy lot.
oh
And they
yes,
got chased away,
Yeah.
and that was his invasion of England, shall we say, over.
yeah, that's right.
So
I've got to say, at Whitehaven, I thought it was a wonderful place. They've spent a lot of money there, but they made the harbour very nice and everything. And of course, you're just next door to St Bees, where you can walk across the coast to coast. Which,
well, I was actually born in Egremont, which is just
right,
outside
yes.
Whitehaven, but
yes,
we left there when I was 4.
right.
So I've lived up here for 76 years now.
Do you think you'll like it?
I'm just making my mind up now. But the harbour, when I was there, we used to go back, a lot of my relatives are still there, but the harbour was a busy bit with all the coal going out,
Yes.
and there was not so many health and safety worries then. You went down and you sat down and you watched the boats coming out and coming in and loading up, and it was a wonderful place for a child.
Yes.
But I still like Dumbfries and Galloway, and I'll remain here.
Well, the best of luck to you.
The best of luck in your walk.
Thanks very much for stopping, and I've given you a card, and you can check me out on YouTube and Facebook, and send me a hello message. That would be very nice.
I will.
And I'm into, I think, day 7 of the Southwest path now, so it's quite easy to sort of track back. I mean, you know your computers. You'll find your way around my site, but my wife and I did quite a few other adventures as well that you might be interested in. And a lot of people like the site, and it's talking to people like you is what makes it important. You know, this walk for me is, obviously it's about doing the walk, and secondly it's about filming it and everything, and talking to people, and it's the people who are the important part of it. With
This is the whole thing, and you find here, people have time. Time is not a problem.
No.
And you go into the lakes, and it's so hustly bustly.
Yeah.
We've done all the hills when we were younger. You finished up in a queue trying to get up Helvella.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And people just haven't time to stand.
No,
and talk.
no.
We've been here for what, 10 minutes? How many people have we seen?
I know, absolutely.
This is
It's like going up Everest, isn't it? You see them freezing to death in a queue. It's ridiculous.
Well, I've never been in them. Hardly
No, I've seen films of it, and it's ridiculous.
Yes.
People died in a queue.
This is why I like this place. But anyway, you enjoy.
Thank you very much.
And I'll go and have my walk. So it's been lovely to meet you.
It's
Lovely
been
to chat to you. And all
lovely
the
to
best.
chat to you. Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. So this gentleman has just put me straight as to how to get along the road and everything. And what's your name, sir, boy?
Eddie.
Eddie. Well, Eddie, when your daughter and your son-in-law see this, they'll be quite surprised then. So just keep it a secret.
Yeah.
I'll be editing this today
Right.
when I've got back to Southerness, and it'll be published tomorrow morning. So you see it then.
Right.
But you've got a lovely house, and you're in a wonderful situation here.
Yes, I retired here.
Yes. Where are you from originally?
All over the country.
Oh right, okay.
I was born in Staffordshire
right.
during the last war,
Really?
but my family's from Hoyk.
Oh, fancy that. Yeah, it's a lovely county, Dumbfries and Galloway. I'm
Yeah.
very impressed with it. But thank you for your advice,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye now.
Bye.
gentleman, your name is?
Mark.
Mark, and his wife?
I'm Brenda.
Brenda. They offered me a lift. I was standing there waiting for the bus, and because I mistimed things obviously with the extra walking that I did, and so they stopped me. They stopped at the junction. Actually, had you actually been down for a walk as well?
We'd been around
Oh,
the
yeah.
nature reserve. We'd be about a 4-mile walk. We'd done around the nature reserve.
It's very nice, isn't
We didn't
it?
know you
Yeah.
were at the bus stop, man. We just saw you were.
Well,
I
it's,
thought you was waiting to cross the road, I did.
no, well, you know, the buses stop. As I say, I think the buses stop for the local people, but not necessarily for anybody else.
Right.
And so, you know, I really thank you for this because if you hadn't have done this, I could have been standing there till like 4 o'clock.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, well,
So
you're
You're
welcome.
very welcome.
Yeah.
So it's very, very kind of you. Thank you
Nice
very
to
much.
bump into your
Yes,
squire.
and hear your tale.
Good
hear your
luck.
story.
Yeah, interesting
Interesting story.
And
yeah.
it's nice to meet someone from Birmingham. I'll tell you a place in Wales called Barmouth. I don't know if you ever.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
It's bloody full of brummies.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh,
don't-
we'll be there in November.
Oh, yeah, oh, do you like
Well,
going to
he's
Barmouth?
he's from Longbridge. That's where
Longbridge.
he's
Oh,
from,
did you
yeah.
used to work at the car?
I spent 6 months as a spot welder on the Allegro in 1980.
Wow! Wow, that's amazing. I used to live over Shirley, Solihull and Shirley,
Yeah.
that way on.
Yeah,
I used to like it. I used to like that end of town. I wasn't very keen on the north end, you know,
Yeah,
I used to
the
go on the south
Walsall Road
side,
kind
we
of
are.
thing, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, thank you very much
You're
indeed.
welcome.
You're wonderful
You're welcome.
people. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that was a result. All that leaves me to do is just to walk from here to the van, which is probably half a mile. And then what I'm going to do is take the van to where those people pick me up and then walk the rest of the walk into Sandy Hill. And that will balance the whole thing up. And I'm back here now. That clock is wrong. It says 4:30 up there. It's actually 1:30, which is about the time when the bus would have been leaving Sandy Hill. So that was a result.